Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to break down a really fascinating piece of curriculum to see exactly how we learn about the fundamental natural cycles of our planet. This source material does just a spectacular job of taking these massive planetary concepts and making them totally accessible. We're going to map out everything from the passing of a single minute all the way to the slow turn of the seasons. So let's get started.
So have you ever just stopped and noticed how things are constantly changing around you? I mean, it sounds super simple, right? But the chapter actually starts by asking students to pause and reflect on this constant state of change. You grow taller each year, leaves fall and regrow, the sky changes color. This simple question is the perfect hook because it sets up the core theme right away: life is inherently dynamic. Okay, let's really dive into this. The curriculum effectively asks us to categorize these changes by drawing a direct comparison between the short term and the long term. Some changes happen in the literal blink of an eye, like a sudden rain shower turning the pavement dark. But others take years to unfold, right? Like growing from a child into an adult, or a tiny sapling turning into a massive tree. This framework gets us thinking about time and scale in a highly structured, yet super relatable way.
Here is a quick roadmap for our explainer. We'll start with 1, the nature of change. Moving to 2, day, night, and rotation. Then we'll expand our timeline in 3, the cycle of seasons, before looking at practical applications in 4, tracking nature's rhythms. Finally, we'll zoom all the way out for 5, Earth, our shared home. All right, let's jump into section 1, the nature of change, starting small.
I absolutely love how this textbook brilliantly starts with a relatable human scale before throwing grand astronomical concepts at you. It anchors this abstract idea of change right in the schoolyard, using a story. 2 friends, Saba and Aparna, reunite after a year apart. One's taller, one has a new haircut, one has even learned to play the guitar. By using these personal milestones, it proves that a lot can change in just 1 year, immediately personalizing the learning experience. Let's be real, realizing you are suddenly taller than your best friend is a pretty profound scientific observation when you're that age.
Moving right along to section 2, day, night, and rotation, the daily rhythm.
So, stepping back from those personal growth spurts, the text gracefully zooms out to the daily planetary rhythm we all share. And to really ground the concept of day and night, the source material gives us this incredible geographical fact. Dong in Arunachal Pradesh is known as India's first village of the sunrise. It is literally the very first place where the sun's rays touch Indian land each morning. This takes the sunrise from being some abstract celestial event and turns it into a tangible place you could actually visit. How cool is that?
But here is where the text throws a really great critical thinking curveball. You wake up to the morning sun and it seems to rise in the east, drift across the sky, and eventually set in the west. So, the book asks the learner, is the sun actually moving? It directly prompts the student to question their own everyday perspective.
To answer that question, the curriculum doesn't just hand you the answer. It outlines this awesome hands-on classroom experiment. One student acts as the sun with a torch, while another slowly rotates a globe. Step 1. Flash the torch on one side of the globe. Step 2. Slowly rotate the globe while keeping the torch completely steady. Step 3. Observe what happens. By physically doing this, the actual mechanics of day and night are brought to life right there in the classroom. You can literally see the light making day on one side and night on the other.
And bam, the crucial point is summarized perfectly. Just like the torch in the experiment, the sun stays in one place. It's actually the Earth that is doing the rotating. This effectively shifts the learner's perspective from a narrow, Earth-centric view to a much broader solar system view.
Which brings us to section 3, the cycle of seasons, the annual rhythm.
All right, having conquered the daily 24-hour cycle, we zoom out again to the annual cycle of the seasons, and the text uses these brilliant anecdotes to explain the shifts. For instance, in Odisha, when the koil, or cuckoo bird, sings, farmers know the monsoon rains are arriving, signaling that it is time to plant seeds. This shows that seasons dictate animal behavior, which in turn literally guides human agriculture. Everything is completely synchronized.
This whole progression teaches us how life just moves in these giant cycles. Notice the shift in clothing and surroundings as the year goes on. The weather slowly warms up, it gets hot, it rains, and then cools down before warming up all over again. The curriculum reminds us that every single time we step out our door, we are witnessing nature's rhythm unfolding right in front of us.
Let's move on to section 4, tracking nature's rhythms, classroom application.
Now, reading about the seasons is one thing, but actively tracking them, That is a whole different ballgame. The curriculum purposefully shifts to active learning here, introducing a structured seasons chart activity. Students set up this massive chart with time periods across the top and themes down the side, like plant life, birds and animals, and human activities. All year long, students act as curious explorers, maintaining journals and ultimately building a grand picture of the year together.
Next up, they dive deep into specific themes. The book splits the class into 5 groups. One group might study exactly how plants changed, tracking leaves, flowers, and fruits over the months. Another tracks water bodies, seeing how local ponds change with the monsoon. Then, they get to create these creative posters to present exactly how their specific theme transformed.
But wait, the learning doesn't stop there. The final step is deeply collaborative. The class shuffles into new cross-theme groups based on time periods. This means a new group will have an expert on plants, an expert on animals, an expert on weather, all looking at a specific season, say January to March. They analyze observations across all the themes together and are actually tasked with creating a short story linking nature with people's lives. They are actively building a narrative of interconnectedness, mirroring exactly what we are doing in this explainer.
And that leads us to our final section, number 5, Earth, our shared home, the global connection. So here is the ultimate macro-level takeaway. We've gone from 2 friends noticing they got taller to the rotation of the Earth all the way to the cycle of the seasons. Now, the final chapter expands the student's viewpoint to see Earth as a massively connected, living planet. It's a place where people, animals, plants, and ideas all travel, mix, and grow together, fostering a deep, deep sense of shared belonging.
And it roots this global perspective in a really beautiful core philosophy highlighted in the text, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. This translates to the concept that the entire world is one big shared family. What an absolutely incredible way to summarize the ultimate goal of the curriculum. After meticulously studying the rhythms of nature, the student realizes that everyone and everything is part of the exact same rhythm.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want to pass the baton directly over to you. We've seen how everything from a single sunrise to the changing of the seasons connects us in one massive planetary rhythm. Take a moment today to step outside and really observe the changes happening right in your own neighborhood. Because if we are all truly part of this vast, interconnected system, Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, what rhythm will you choose to put out into the world today? Thanks for hanging out with me, and keep observing.